Hello, Adam Rayner, Talk Audio TV, and today you're getting a slice of proper British history combined with a much bigger slice of Italian, well, I'm going to call it know-how rather than engineering, because I'm once more having a little look at the Ferrari Lusso, because I spectacularly got the wrong end of the stick last time. It's a beautiful, sunny November day, winter anticyclone. That's Old Father Thames. We're at Runnymede, where they signed Magna Carta. And this is the Lusso GTC4. Or is it GTC4 Lusso? I sat next to Mr. Jason Harris of Ferrari North Europe, who's basically been educating me on how all this stuff works. We've seen a good chunk of how the tech works in the previous video, but this is about this passenger screen and how clever it is. Just turn it on like that. So Jason, tell us specifically about the navigation in this, because we know we've got the VDA, which is spectacular, and you can change the Manadino being altered, complete with the triple bleep when you turn it off, as if it's asking if you're absolutely completely certain, sir. And the performance screen, which is completely brilliant. It's got the G-force meter on it and everything. But it was this one in particular, because I can program this as a passenger, can I not, Jason?
You can, once we've actually selected something to actually enter as a destination. So for example, we're here in Runnymede and we're going to go to a favourite destination.
Yes, I've asked. You basically buy rind-on bacon in Berkshire.
Windsor Park Farm Shop. So once this has actually got a route calculated, and I press start, the passenger can then actually choose to go somewhere else along the way.
Ooh. And
you would do that by actually pressing the search POI in the top right of that screen. The idea here is that as a passenger, pick either around me or along route, either one, you must increase the yard range, otherwise you might not find anything very close to you. But you can adjust that range accordingly. So once you've changed the range of how far you want it to look, you've then got a number of different options that you can choose from. So car and travel, things like petrol stations, sightseeing, emergency, you've got hospitals, you've got food. If you look at tourist attractions there, for example, there'll be various things around here. Savile Gardens, the other side of Windsor Park. You've got Windsor Castle. Select Add as Waypoint on the right hand side, and what that's now doing is that's adding your chosen waypoint to the destination that I've already programmed as the driver.
Now I'm filming, but I could have done that while we're rolling along.
Absolutely, that's the concept of it, is that as a driver I can carry on driving, I can keep my hands on the wheel, but as a passenger I could say to you, look, we need to stop for petrol, we need to stop for some food, whatever we need to stop for.
I want some seafood, don't you? Sushi.
You could decide you want to go and see something like Windsor Castle, or you want to go to, you need to go to the bank, or whatever it is you need to.
Yes.
This is the only car with
in the world
screen. Well, this was the first car with the screen where the passenger is actually able to interact with the destination chosen by the driver. That screen is now also appearing on some of our other models like the Portofino, and it will be on the 812 Superfast as well. So this is a Ferrari standard system that is optional for all of our cars now. The other thing that it can do, which again no other car in the market can do, the passenger can select to change the music. So if you don't like the music I'm playing, you can pick another one out of the same album. You can press list, and then you can choose either artists, albums or songs. You can select, just by scrolling left to right again, different albums to pick from. But the passenger again is choosing what the music is, rather than the driver being distracted while they're driving. You can also change the source as well. So if you went to source on the right hand side, sorry, go back to media, source. So if you'd got something plugged into the USB ports in the center console, or you'd got an audio iPod, something like that, connected via Bluetooth, you as the passenger would be able to select those different sources. On this car we've only got music loaded up on the hard drive.
It's one of those things, there's plenty of space in there as well. It deliciously dates Mr. Harris. That's the whole point.
It is my music choice on there.
Yes, it's your car too.
It's my music choice.
So let's set off. Yes, absolutely.
Now get off at the exit on the left onto A308.
There we go, so that's correct.
Now, in fact, for the ease of programming, what we've done is decide that we were going to go to the farm shop as a main destination, with Windsor Castle as something one could find as a point of interest, because we weren't sure if the Queen's grocery shop was actually in there. So we programmed in the farm shop for my particular urge, and added Windsor Castle. So I headed to the seat of British royalty, also on Old Father Thames here in Royal Berkshire. Totally British. But in the passenger seat of a car with 3 passenger seats, quite unusual for a Ferrari.
Soon keep to the right lane and continue to follow A308, A332.
There's Windsor Castle.
Oh my gosh, yes, ladies and gentlemen. The seat of British royalty, there in the distance. Windsor Great Park. Appended to it, Windsor Castle. Now, the British tradition is that if the Queen is home, there is a flag above the place to show that she's there. And, well, that's usually floating above the building. Us Londoners know, in a familiar fashion, as Buckhouse. Buckingham Palace. It did not look like the Queen was in, although I can't really see on my monitor. But yes, here's Windsor.
After 300 yards, get off the roundabout at the second exit and continue to follow B3022.
They've got some diversion here, I think. Oh no, I can go some. I wondered if these cones were...
Yeah, tourist thing going on. There's a lot of security happening. Yes, this is Windsor itself. And you can see that the sat-nav is showing us a progression of a line on the display there.
Now get off at the exit on the
can
left
also
and
look at the
continue to
turn
follow
list as well, if you press the
B3022.
turn list at the
Soon
bottom
turn
right.
right onto Castle Hill.
Oh,
You can
look at that.
actually work out exactly where you need to go.
How
And
cool is
here...
that? Righty-ho.
Windsor Castle. I'm not sure what this is.
Battlements. Some of America's finest.
Speed bump. In front is the courthouse where Charles and Camilla was married.
After 200 yards, turn right onto Castle Hill.
Yes,
Must be something happening today.
there's some serious security here in Windsor because, of course, there must be something happening. And here we are, right up on the castle. Not running over tourists making their own videos.
Now turn right onto Castle Hill.
Oh, he's directing somewhere else.
On
It's a
to
beautiful day here in
Lusso.
Old Windsor.
Shame we couldn't get a better view of the castle. Unless you want to drive up, to drive back that way.
Able to see it right up there in the sky.
Now turn left onto Claremont Road and next turn left again.
That car pulling out. Right, we're out of the way of the changing of the guards.
To the farm shop, sir. To the farm shop.
Now get off at the exit on the left onto A308, A332.
I can tell you that the sound system in this Ferrari Lusso is
After 300 yards, keep to the left lane and continue to follow A308, A332 and next turn left.
labelled JBL Professional, which is why that lady's voice is such astonishing clarity. James B. Lansing, the most important loudspeaker manufacturer in the world.
Now keep to the left lane and continue to follow A308, A332 and next turn left.
At what proportion, Jason, of Ferrari owners take their vehicles to track days? Are there any that strictly only use them on the road,
After
or
300 yards,
does everybody
keep to the
take them
left
for
lane
the,
onto King's Road.
It's a growing market because it's so difficult to enjoy the roads properly on the cars on normal roads nowadays that more and more people are taking them onto tracks. Probably not this car. This car's the 4-seat kind of grand touring travelling car.
Now keep to the
Yes.
left lane onto
But
King's
most of
Road.
our other cars, more and more people are spending time with them on track.
That is, of course, the very, very famous top product the company makes, which is by invitation only and strictly about having your team and your wonderful, superb, awesome machine.
Now keep to the right lane and continue to follow
behind you a little bit
A308,
and to the left, you'll see the
A332, and
Great
next
Wall.
keep to the right lane again.
And you will see Windsor Castle right at the bottom, down on the left, all the way down the left.
So off in the distance there's, oh yes, sorry, down the Great Wall. So is the car trying to take us back to the waypoint, or will we be...
I think because we weren't allowed to go into Windsor Castle,
it didn't think we got there.
Yeah, so if I just stop there, and then we'll stop the guidance. Sorry, I did that wrong. Couldn't see the screen there properly. The sun. Okay, and then if I go back to menu, favourite destination, and then the Park Farm Shop, and then it's now programmed back again to the Park Farm Shop. Yeah, because we couldn't quite get into Windsor Castle.
It didn't think you got there, so it kept on...
It didn't think I was there, yeah. It kept trying to take me back to it, and they wouldn't let me there. But that's because there were very proactive police officers with very large guns stopping.
There were, but I was waving the camera around a little bit. I was also fretful that the broadcast camera and police on that level and at the heart of the British establishment might not be a sensible idea.
There we go, start there, sorry.
But yes,
Soon keep to the left lane.
the main
After
plot is
300 yards, keep to the
that
left. Caution.
in the Ferrari Lusso you can set a navigation location just here on the left, because one of the vehicles coming outside.
Yep.
And that's me judging by how fast my car would be going and still being able to brake easily.
Immediately turn left.
Yeah, this is the Queen's grocery shop.
Now turn left.
Windsor Farm shop. I'm going to stop filming there because I have not asked.
You have reached the destination
I'll
area.
phone, I'll video just some the dashboard here. But yes, the Windsor Farm shop is actually the well, you can buy all the game that's shot on the Windsor estate. There's a fabulous butcher's here, an enormous amount of stuff for Christmas. Couldn't recommend it too much. This foodie absolutely loves it. I'll be right back with you. What a gorgeous vehicle. So yes, we've been to see Windsor Castle. Apologies if there's some ridiculous shaky footage there, because to be perfectly honest, I wasn't sure if policemen looking after the royal family with flamping great semi-automatic weapons and me with a broadcast camera, I just felt a little bit nervous. But yeah, we've been to the farm shop and I bought some of the finest victuals available in the home
Transit
counties.
restriction ahead and next turn right. Now turn right and immediately
Oops,
turn sharp left.
Just heading off back now.
After 300 yards, get off the roundabout at the first exits onto A308. Now get off at the exit on the left onto A308.
I guess you could call this display the "Are we nearly there yet?"
And again, you can change the music if you wanted to. Push the little music button on the left, and then you can play around with the music. And then when you've selected the music you like, you can go back to the right-hand button over there, the one on the very right.
On the very right, that is that one.
Yeah, and that takes you back to the sat nav.
Gotcha. So there really is a whole load of stuff there for the passenger on a specially shaped and particularly wide aspect ratio screen.
The key thing is it's a safety thing as well as having the involvement of the passenger. You know, as a driver I can carry on driving, I don't have to be touching the centre screen, I don't have to be playing with the music. I do have the option of some scrolls on my steering wheel here where I can actually change the music using buttons behind, but what I can't do is I can't actually add another destination into the sat nav. That's something that really should be done just with the passenger so that the driver can carry on driving safely. It's really about getting the passenger involved as well, instead of them just having a
passive experience.
Exactly, a passive experience. They can find, you know, a restaurant that they like,
yes,
without you having to stop and look anywhere, or without even having to look on your phone and doing a search on the internet while you're travelling, because it should all be based into the
yes, the point of interest list is huge, isn't it?
Yeah. And you can actually call some of those destinations as well, as you saw with the Ferrari dealer. The phone number came up, so it is also linked up to the phone. So if you find a restaurant that you want to go to, you can actually push call, and then you can actually make the reservation before you even get there. Check that they've got a table for you before you arrive.
Which does help.
After 300 yards, get off the roundabout at the second exit onto A328.
I have been on the receiving end of a slightly out-of-date Google listing once. I drove to a restaurant on a boat to discover it was now an Indian and not a Chinese. But it was still did still have a kitchen on board.
Now get off at the exit on the left.
Just coming back into Runnymede again.
It's where they signed Magna Carta. It's the British version of, well, it's like the Bill of Rights, only it was kind of crucial for most of mankind. Of course, the British would say that.
I would actually say that the Bill of Rights is a American version of the English Magna Carta.
Exactly.
There is actually an American monument here to the Magna Carta over on the right hand side, which was funded by the American Law Society.
Wow. Recognising the importance. Just this spot by the River Thames.
Just over here on the right hand side.
Major political history.
Little part there that's just gone past.
Fabulous British beef. Busy growing in the fields there. What a lovely ride this is. And I know, of course, that with the Manatino control you can change the experience from really quite comfortable through to, well, hang the heck on. I do love the triple bleep when you turn all of the technical assistance off. That's the one, yes. Are you really certain, sir? That's the way that Mr. Wilshire from Maranello has described it. A beautiful part of the world to be in. Old Father Thames flowing past Runnymede there.
This car might feel a little bumpy today also because we're running on Pirelli winter tyres now, with the temperatures being cold. When the temperature's below 7 degrees, the road temperature is also much lower. So we always run on winter tyres, which have stiffer sidewalls, so that makes them a little bit stiffer. But it does mean that no matter how cold it is, you've still got lots of grip. And with this car being potentially four-wheel drive on the front if you wanted it, if we were in low grip situations, we'd still be driving perfectly safely in four-wheel drive.
It's an important piece of Ferrari technology there.
This is the only car with a four-wheel drive system based off the front of the engine, not just off the rear with a separate differential in the centre of the car like most four-wheel drive systems. So it's about 2/3 of the weight of a normal four-wheel drive system.
After
Saves about
500 yards, get off the roundabout at the fourth exit onto A30.
It saves about 80 kilograms on the weight, but it's also fully electronic as well. You don't actually choose whether or not to have the four-wheel drive system. It automatically decides for you whether or not it needs grip at the front. And the sat-nav might not like this now because they're just doing roadworks here on the roundabout,
yes, they
so
changed stuff
we've got to
around.
go all the way around.
It's going to tell us off a little because we can't go through there.
I turned the volume down so she didn't shout at me.
Yes, I attended a very important conference recently about audio, the future, and also the massive rate of exchange of technology and in-car stuff these days.
Now get off at the exit on the left and continue to follow A308.
Because an awful lot of technology now and stuff we talk to.
Get off the roundabout at the second exit and continue to follow A30.
As well, of course, is the technology telling us what sat-navs have always been the first bit of voices talking to us in tech.
Now get off at the exit on the left and continue to follow A30.
I will not squeak. Ooh. What do I say? Lovely device. But yes, for all of the obviousness of the awesome engineering in a Ferrari, it has to be said, that the technology, right down to that four-wheel drive stuff we just heard about, is more than just oh, we need to, us to, me too stuff. I would suggest that Ferrari are actually leading with some of this tech, even if it's come from the point of view of, well, the passenger really wants to have fun too, and the driver may have to be hanging on like they mean it. I just keep on seeing this car in its natural environment, which is maybe wintry roads in the Alps with hairpins.
Absolutely. On
And
the way to the ski lodge.
on the way to yes, for me to break my leg. Here we are back at Maranello's. It's a lovely Art Deco building. There's lovely motor cars outside. Now, I have to admit that I've really no idea whether my videography has been of any real use here at all, or whether I've completely missed bits, because it's been such a bright day, but we shall edit this as best we can. In the meanwhile, just a huge thanks to Ferrari North Europe and Mr. Jason Harris in particular.
You're welcome.
I've been one awkward journalist to deal with at times, I know, and timings and me forgetting stuff. And just incidentally, I don't know if you can see that, the reversing